All right, all right, all right. Peace, blessings, enough, holy, plenty, a lot of love to all our queens and our kings.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mindset Monday. I hope you had a wonderful Monday, whether you're returning from vacation or you had a wonderful day at the job, productive day, or you are at play. Whatever spectrum, I hope it was enjoyable. For us, we had a wonderful time in our neck of the woods. It's nice and cool. The humidity is very low if there's any.
Mm.
But it was a spectacular, it's still a spectacular day. Nice, cool breeze just flowing through the window. And we're here again for another wonderful day
Oh,
to,
yes.
to share.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nice breeze blowing outside, and we are cool as cucumber without AC, I might add. And it's just a fabulous day. Thank you all very much for joining us here on Mindset Monday, here on the meeting platform, and of course on our various social media platform. We are going to kick off things with our mm,
Money
mm,
exercise.
money,
Money.
money, 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 money.
We don't have right to this
Yeah,
ad, but
right,
we're
right,
just borrowing the words
right,
because
right.
we're talking about money.
Money.
So our money exercise, as we always share with you, is not that we are saving a whole lot of money, but it's the principle behind consistency.
Mercy.
So yes.
So which means by the end of this week,
Uh-huh.
if you're scaling your contribution to your little piggy bank or to your container, then you should be this weekend, this Saturday evening, by this Saturday evening, you should at least be at $325.
$325.
And that
That's
is
if you started
started from dollar.
from the dollar per week
Yes, yes,
since January.
since January. And if you started from the 52 instead, because remember what we are doing is the 52 weeks in the year. So all we are doing is saving the dollar amount for each week, right? So week one, $1, week two, $2, week three, $3, etc., etc., right? If you're doing it the other way, from the higher to the lower, then it will be week one, $52, week two, $51, week three, $50, etc., etc. So if you are doing it, what a cool breeze. If you are doing it from the 52 coming down, then by this Saturday evening, you should be at 1,000. Woo!
That's a
That's
nice
a
little
nice little
change. You
change.
can take that and you
Mm,
can
mm,
put it
mm,
in
mm,
a
mm,
in a
mm,
high yield savings account, or you
mm,
can just let it remain
mhm, mhm.
until you reach the that max that you should do.
Yes, 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 yes.
So consistency pays off whether it's minuscule or it's huge. But we are doing minuscule so we can see the value of consistency.
Wonderful, wonderful. So please just ensure that you save on a consistent basis because that is what we are looking for.
Can
Consistency.
see.
Amen. Wonderful. So moving right along, once again, we are going to actually highlight this wonderful Bunununus lady beside me, which so happens to be a fabulous individual, a lovely, beautiful, virtuous woman from above. She's just a loving person, a caregiving person, and because she's such a caregiving person, she has write a book. She has written a book, right? Which she's the author of course. and it's the heart of a servant. Okay? Nurturing yourself while caring for others using the ART framework. What a book. If you haven't gotten your copy, please get a copy this evening or before the meeting ends. And if you wait until the meeting ends, then you will see the Amazon link come up on your screen as a parting gift. So we just want to celebrate Queen Miriam for this wonderful achievement that she has accomplished.
I am so grateful to God and all present here and on the varied social media platforms celebrating with me my book, The Heart of a Servant.
And yes, whether no matter what spectrum of life you're in, just remember that self-care is not selfish. So when you care for self, you are in a greater, better, stronger, abundant position. Your cup is full so you can care for others in a magnificent way.
Hmm. Wonderful. All right. So we are now going to dive deeply in the meat of the matter. So I'm going to leave my wonderful, lovely wife to make that fabulous introduction for us.
Today, we have a wonderful guest who will be sharing with us, a fellow author also. And she's been here before, but for a lot of you, you may not have heard her before. So I'm just going to share a little bit about who this wonderful person is. Loren, Dr. Loren Bartley Trail. Loren is a servant leader and accomplished professional with experience in education, tourism, human resources, workforce development, and organizational training. She holds an associate degree in computer technology, a bachelor's degree in business administration from Monroe College, my alma mater,
Mm.
a master's degree in human resource management from the University of Phoenix, and a master's degree in and a doctorate in human and organizational psychology from Torah University Worldwide, where she graduated summa cum laude. Her professional background includes leadership roles in training, coaching, and knowledge management, a wide array of accomplishment. She serves as knowledge management system administrator at Westchester Medical Center, while also contributing in as coach in various community initiatives. Throughout her career, Loren demonstrated a strong commitment to equity, excellence, and the development of others. She has led training and coaching initiatives. I get tongue tied with some words, so forgive me. That supports employee growth, resilience, and career advancement, including her work as lead coach for the School of Work program. She recognized for her integrity, proactive leadership style and ability to create supportive environments where individuals and team can thrive.
Nice.
Loren is affiliated with the Society of Human Resource Management, the Westchester Human Resource Management Association, Black Leaders Worldwide, Manhattanville College Women Leadership Cohort, the Monroe College Toastmasters, and she holds certifications in coaching, leadership, training, and project management. Deeply rooted in faith, Loren serves actively in ministry and community service. She is a graduate of Oneness Apostolic Bible Institute, currently enrolled at Ambassador Bible College, and has held leadership roles, including Registrar of OABI and President of the Oneness Professional Association. She is committed to using her education, experience, and faith to advocate for dignity, opportunity, and empowerment, especially for underserved population. Loren, she serves by the motto, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. With her perseverance and purpose, she believes in the power of service. I present to you none other than Dr. Loren E. Bartley Trail.
Thank you, Dr. Derek and Queen Miriam, for such a warm welcome. And again, for this opportunity to be on this platform. And congratulations again, Queen Miriam, on your accomplishment. The heart of a servant. You know, that's down my alley. And good evening, everyone online. Okay, so it's a pleasure for me to be here. And do you want me to just proceed, Queen Miriam?
Sure. You take your liberty and just do what you do best.
Okay, thank you. So I'm challenged with collaborating in flow or building effective teams and partnerships. And when I think about that, it's the idea that team perform best when collaboration feels purposeful and energizing rather than fragmented. All right, so what does collaborating in flow mean? For me, flow is progress. Flow is alignment. And it feels when it's the feeling when energy matches purpose and goals, if you ask me. So it is when what you're doing feels natural and impactful. All right, so when I think about flow, I think about the pipe, right? So water in a pipe flows. It flows out, correct?
Yes. And the river.
Right. So if water stops flowing, it's because something or there's some obstruction in the path. So there is blockage. All right. And just like water, a team is designed to be effective. And the individuals on the team are conduits. They are the ones getting the job done. So the barriers or blockage to building effective teams and partnerships usually come from like poor communication, lack of trust, unclear roles, and of course, conflicts. And as we all know, conflicts, that's life. It's a part of life. It's how we manage those conflicts. So if you're online, you can, or if you want to put in the chat, you can go ahead and put in the chat what you think, or if you think of other barriers. All right. So firstly, one must identify the cause of the blockage. So in other words, we must identify why the team is not effective.
Mhm.
People work harder together when they know exactly what they are trying to achieve without that team lose focus. And misunderstandings, incomplete information, or and lack of transparency quickly weaken collaboration. So if people do not feel safe to speak up honestly, they hold back ideas and concerns, and confusions about who does what creates gaps, duplication, and frustration. I don't know if you have ever been on a team and because there's no clear directives, you find that two persons doing the same thing, and only when they've completed the task, they realize that they've wasted time because someone else was doing it.
A lot
I've
of
Mm.
been,
times.
I've been there.
Yes.
So when a few people control the conversation as well, others disengage and the partnership loses balance. And there's also excessive like different levels of managers. And that
Mm-hmm.
too can become barriers because if there are too many managers involved, that slows down the decision making, and that also disempower the staff. Because you'll find sometimes you're on a team and you'll request or put a request in, or you'll try to get some directives, and then you're told I have to get to that one to get approval, or you have to get to another one. So by the time it comes back to you, you actually lose interest. So another critical barrier is fear of failure. And mistakes should be considered as a learning experience and not grounds for punishment. And of course, adults don't want to be shouted at. They want to be considered as adults and not children. And many times that becomes a barrier because people don't want to be, they want to be treated like people and not things. And there are other challenges also, like, you know, teams and partners may not agree on what matters most. And that also slows down the progress and creates tension. And of course, if there's tension on the team, you know, people not getting along, that's blockage. And again, without clear ownership, works get delayed and
Mm-hmm.
standards drop. Because if no one is accountable, then they'll do whatever they want and whenever. And another big thing is to take in consideration is resistance to change. If there's no clear communication, then there's going to be resistance because
Yeah.
people are used to doing things certain way. And if there's a change, a sudden change, they're going to retaliate. There's going to be some resistance. So if there, for instance, if there are new processes, that must be clearly communicated abruptly. Of course, everyone's just going to be standing there looking and wonder why the change, why everybody wondering why, wasting time. So of course, new processes or shared ways of working can be hard to accept. And we often hear people say things like, that's not how we used to do it, and how
Mm-hmm.
we're doing it, it's not broken, so why change it? And it's hard to accept. And if there are limited resources and support, you're going to find that there's blockage. So even if there's a strong team, they'll struggle when they don't have enough time to do the task, or if there's no budget to get the tools that they need, or if leaders don't support what they're doing, and if they hardly see their managers, because sometimes managers do this disappearing and appearing act. Sometimes you only see them when something goes wrong. And of course, then again, we talk about poor conflict management. There are a lot of unresolved disagreements on team, and that can damage morale and the partnership health. So if you're talking about unhealthy team, this is one of the biggest beast, conflict. And if it's unaddressed conflict equal no collaboration. Because if there's no agreement and everyone is not on the same page, of course, no one is going to collaborate.
I want to
And
ask
for
you one
example,
question.
sure, go ahead.
As you're there, it's low, no collaboration, low morale, and do you think that, how do you think that will affect productivity?
Definitely will, because you're talking about collaboration to get the work done. You're thinking about all the minds coming together to get the work done. You're thinking of everyone putting, all hands on board to get it done effectively and in a timely manner. And if I can't get along with you and I don't talk to you, and we're always at it, of course, it's going to impact the productivity. All right.
So low collaboration
Mhm.
affects productivity, and of course,
And morality. Yep.
if the productivity drops, then of course money, you're talking about money being wasted.
Yes. Yes. And some organization do a great job with you know, not managing resources very well. So for example, if partnership is, partnership may struggle if no one is clear on who leads each task. In that case, the real barriers are not just personality differences, they are communication gaps, unclear roles and misaligned expectations, right? So you can't have a team and you have all leaders. You have to have some followers, right? And you have some teams that, everyone is giving order.
Mm.
And when we talk about the, sometimes there's this momentum, you get the task going and there's that momentum going, and then all of a sudden stagnant. And that's caused from distractions. And there are all different kinds of distractions, and individuals complete tasks smoothly and provide this mental momentum to finish the next task without burnout. When there is, if the flow stops, then that that affects you psychologically, right? And that causes burnout. But if the flow is going smoothly, then that will prevent burnout. And flow requires trust. If there's no trust, then people won't feel comfortable because they always feel like they're being watched, right? So they won't trust. And flow requires confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And to get that confidence, they have to feel trusted and feel like they're in a safe environment. And naturally, to clear a pipe, sorry, go ahead. You're saying
No.
something,
Well,
Dr.
you
Derek?
finish your thought. Finish your thought.
Right. So naturally, I'm thinking to clear the block pipe, we mostly use Drano, right? That's one of the most popular thing that we use to clear the drain. So in this context, our Drano would be effective communication, which includes active listening, right? So it is important to know the dynamics of the team and relationships. They're important. Listening to the team members, that's important. They see and hear more than the managers because they're on the front line. They're there every day. They see what's going on. They hear what's going on. So I would encourage leaders, don't don't only talk to your team members when you need something done, right? Have that open communication, keep that conduit clear, have that open communication. And to prevent barriers in building effective teams and partnership, one has to focus on the conditions that make collaboration work, such as shared goals, trust, as I said before, clear roles, open communication, and balanced participation. All right. So research on collaboration highlights that preventing problems early is easier when teams are aligned on the purpose, actively build trust, and address power imbalance before they derail the work. Because what you'll find sometimes, again, the task will be going smoothly and then there's a disruption. And because it's not fixed, there's a derail. And the project takes longer than planned. And, there are some strategies for creating flow. And as I said before, setting these shared goals, make sure everyone understands the purpose and priorities and expected outcomes from the start. Don't wait, my coworker and I, we always laugh sometimes, sending the cart before the horse. That's an inside joke. But, it's very important that these goals are shared early and set these clear, goals and build trust intentionally. One second, let me see. Yes, I had to tell my husband to turn the TV down. Sorry about that. Yeah, so build trust intentionally. We want to encourage honesty, empathy, and positive intent so people feel safe making their contribution, right? So, and we want to define roles and the responsibilities, because if they're not clearly defined, if it's not clarified who is doing what to avoid confusion and overlapping, the task will not be done, because Jane is going to say it's Mary. Mary's going to say it's Jane, and it's not done because Jane thought Mary was doing it and Mary thought vice versa, right? So we want to create that open communication and use regular check-ins, right? So transparent updates and all that, that's important. And, leave space for questions. So issues are surfaced early, because sometimes the issue is breeding, it's brewing, and because there's no check-ins, it becomes a monster, right? It gets out of hand. So we want to address those issues early, and we also want to address that imbalance. So make sure that all voices are heard, especially in cross-functional, or if you're departments, you're working with other departments, you want to make sure that is clear from upfront, right? And resolve conflicts, as we said before, because that's one of the main blockage, and when we resolve these conflicts, we have to be respectful about it too. So we have to establish how disagreements will be handled so tension becomes productive instead of destructive. Because if it's not respectfully done, it's gonna be even more than the interruption.
So
Right?
how does tension becomes disruptive? Can you share maybe a point or an instance where tension becomes disruptive?
Right. Destructive. Okay, say for instance, Jane doesn't get along with Mary because she feels that she's doing more than Mary, right? And there's that tension. So both start shutting down and the tension is building up and it's building up, right? So instead of it becomes productive, it's becoming destructive because again, it's back to losing revenue. If there's money involved in the project, right? And if there's a timeline, it's being dragged out because it's not done on time in a timely manner. So instead of it being productive, it's really being destructive because we're losing out, right?
Wonderful.
And mhm,
Let me kind of go back a little.
right,
In terms of trust, you mentioned earlier about trust. How does trust influence the success of a team or partnership, and how can we strengthen that kind of a relationship?
sure. That's a great question. If I'm on a team and I don't feel like I'm being trusted, I won't be putting 100% in, right? Because I feel like, especially if I'm micromanaged, because they're watching the time I get to work, they're watching the time I eat lunch, they're watching the time I leave. I'm working very hard on this project, but they don't see what's done. They only see the minor things like when I take a break, when I go home, when I arrive, so that it becomes frustrating to the point where I don't really trust. And if I ask, like, I ask for some resources and I'm told that, you'll get it by tomorrow, and tomorrow comes and I don't get it. And I'm waiting and waiting on this resource, whatever it is, to get the tool, whatever it is, to get the task going. I'm not going to trust you because I just feel like you're not showing that you're interested in us getting it done. And you're just micromanaging and you're not really interested in me. You're only interested in seeing the work done. I'm losing trust, I'm shutting down.
Mm, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. There's a question in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it says, what qualities do you believe are most important in building a strong and effective team?
Oh, thanks, John, for that question. Clear and effective communication. That's a quality that every leader needs to possess. Clear communication, because when there's clear communication, everything else will fall in line. Everything else will fall in line. So in addition to the other skills, like interpersonal skills and getting along and knowing how to talk to people and treating people like they're people, communication is the biggest thing that all leaders need to practice. Because if I can, if you and leading by example, and practice what you tell us. If you say we are to be courteous, you have to be courteous yourself. If you say we are to be whatever, you have to do the same thing. So one thing for sure, your team members, they are watching you. And if you tell them to do something and you're not doing it, guess what? It's unlikely that they're going to do it.
True.
Right? So there, in addition to the other soft skills that can be learned, communication is the key. effective communication, because you'll have leaders who say things but they don't mean it. They'll say open, oh, we have an open door policy, we have an open communication policy, but at the same time they'll stop and they don't stop and say good morning, or if they even stop to say good morning or say how are you, they don't wait for the answer, how are you, and they keep walking. So what's the sense of asking how are you? You know, so there are some soft skills, as I said, can be taught. There are some things that that all leaders need to adapt, but communication is the most important, because if you can communicate clearly, you'll be able to build relationships.
So what would be clear communication? Because me, I am telling someone to do something or
Okay.
not to do something. Does that exhibit clear communication, whether the person understand what I'm saying or not?
I'm
What
big
would clear
I'm
communication be?
I'm big on black and white. Put it in writing. Jane will be doing this. Mary, this is my expectations. Because if you give clear expectations, no one will be pointing finger, because it's in writing that who is doing what, right? So if that's clearly outlined, then there won't be much interruption, because then Mary will be accountable for her action, because it's in writing that these are the expectations, right? So if she doesn't do that, then it's on her. But if there's nothing in writing and it's not clear, and that is why people need to ask questions. If someone asks you to do something and you don't clearly understand what it is you're asked to do, ask the question, repeat the question, so that the person on the other end can say exactly what they're asking. Because sometimes we perceive things differently. You'll ask me something and I misunderstand, right? And I'm from the Caribbean, and I love to use this example. When something tastes very good, we say it tastes bad. But a person from another culture will not understand that you mean it tastes real good. Right? So we have, leaders have to make sure the communication is clear. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. We can't use the slogans and, stay away from those things,
It's
because
wicked.
right, when we say it's wicked, we mean it's real good, right? But we have to take into consideration that we're working with a diverse group, so it has to be clearly communicated.
Right. I think the main point, it has to be two-way. And
Exactly.
that is what I think I'm getting from you, that it has to
Exactly.
be two-way, because just putting something in black and white doesn't mean I understand what you are saying.
It goes clear means cover all grounds, right? Because as I said before, I can tell you something and you still misunderstand, and I'm gone thinking you understand, because to me it's clear, but you perceived it differently. So we have to cover all grounds, put it in writing, say it, live it, right? So they can see, hear, and understand exactly what their expectations are.
So would you say one of the part of the framework is ask, reframe, then take action. So
There
reframing
you go.
is
Repeat it.
yes.
Mhm. Right. And, that's why we encourage team members to ask questions. Unfortunately, there are some environments where people are timid to speak up, but it's, for, as you say, it's a two-way. right? When I'm contributing, I'm making my contribution, and I'm expecting the manager to make his or her contribution. So we are all on the same page,
Now,
right?
now, how do you address the situation where the person don't ask questions, but it's 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 an underlying issue they're having from whether childhood trauma because they're afraid that it is said you ask that's a stupid question. How do you address that in the environment of teams?
Okay, so in a manager should encourage the employees or staff or team to speak up and promote a safe environment where they can speak up, because of course, and that is why it's important that they know the dynamics of the team,
Mm-hmm.
because they have to also know how to value these differences, because people coming from different walks of life, different environment, some people are quiet, some people are loud, you have introvert, extroverts. So it's very important that you encourage those people who don't speak up. I see Dr. Derek, you leave Queen Miriam alone.
No, no, some people are quiet, some people are loud.
So you have to encourage those who are quiet to speak up and know how to tell the ones who are loud and dominating to give the others a chance. Because if the quiet person, of course, they will keep quiet. If they'll just stay there, they'll quietly do what they have to do. And surprisingly, they have a lot of ideas, but because
Yes.
they don't get the chance to share it, they need to feel like they're part of the team. And it's important that all managers learn and really take their team to heart if they need an effective team.
All right, wonderful.
So are you saying that what you are sharing that goes for every aspect of leadership,
Across the board.
whether it's home, social, to the biggest organization
Across the board, yes. Yes.
across the board?
Yes.
So is there any more communication challenges that affect teams that you can share with us?
Um,
And
listening.
maybe some strategies to
Right. So you
overcome them.
have you have some leaders, they listen, but they're not active listeners, right?
Mm.
And of course, people have selective hearing. And unfortunately, sometimes the bias get in the way. And of course, we're all biased, but as leaders, we have to, deal with those unconscious
Mm-hmm.
biases. So, it's very important to be active listeners. Sometimes someone will be trying to tell you something, but because they're not so eloquent or they're not so, um, you know, like loud like the others, they're shoved aside, but they're really trying to tell you something that's
Mm-hmm.
important, you know? Um, so Dr. Derek, you were saying if, you know, there are a lot of things that we could say, like with there are some habits that we can, adapt um, to make it, you know, effective. Before starting the project, you know, have these agreement, agree on goals, everybody agree on the goals, everybody agree on what their roles are, and everybody agree on the timeline, right? And as I said before, invite the quiet persons or the introvert to share or give their input so one voice does not dominate. And revisit these, the parties, revisit them. And
Mm-hmm.
especially when the workloads or conditions change, and resolve these misunderstanding quickly instead of letting them grow, and recognize contributions. So, people feel valued and stay engaged. And if two teams are launching a program together, they can prevent breakdowns by agreeing on who owns each task and how the progress will be reported and what to do if things change, you know. And why does this matter? It really matters because when the teams collaborate, things flow.
Yes.
And of course, it will produce higher quality work, solve problems, innovate, people will be more innovative and, experience greater engagement and job satisfaction. And of course, we'll build and sustain, better partnerships.
Mm. And of course, especially when the communication is not flowing properly,
Mm-hmm.
then what you're going to find is disagreements. How should
Exactly.
the team handle disagreements or conflict while preserving unity and respect?
And that's fine. We'll always have disagreements and conflict because we don't all agree, but we can disagree to agree,
Mm-hmm.
I,
because
I've always heard that, and I
Mhm.
really do agree with it.
Why don't you
To be
agree with
honest
it,
with you,
Dr. Derek? Why don't you agree with it, Dr. Derek?
because there's no way you can agree to disagree, because it's either this that you're doing is
Mm-hmm.
truth, or
Mm-hmm.
that what we want to accomplish is truth. Everyone need to come on one accord in order to go into this truth
And
that
that is why
we are going into.
I'm gonna lay my emotions aside and I'm gonna move forward with the project. That's what I mean by agreeing to disagree, because you put your feelings aside so the project can move along so we can achieve the goal, right? Because there's no way we all gonna agree on the same thing, right? And people have different ways of doing things, but we're still heading to the same goal,
Mm-hmm.
right? So sometimes people stop to criticize what others do and how others do it, right? But you don't have to dwell there. And that is why we have to know each other on the team. And maybe another time we can talk about the different personality styles, because I do things different from you. My ways are different from yours, you know. But guess what? I'm trying to achieve the same goal.
And we have a
You you
timeline.
you you might decide that you're gonna go left, and I decide I'm gonna go right, but we're gonna meet up. We're gonna meet up at the same point, because
We meet
you
up.
it's like you use left hand and I use right hand, right? But we're trying to achieve the same goal.
with the
That
same
is
with the
why
same the same with the same guidelines.
the same guideline. That is why we have to set the goal. These are the goals we're trying to achieve, right? And I'm gonna get it done, but I might not do it the same way you do it, because you might decide you want to put two columns and I might decide I need to put an extra column with the comments, right? But at the same time, we're trying to get to the same goal. So that's what I mean when I say disagree
Agree to
to agree.
disagree.
Agree to,
Okay.
yes, always get them the other way. But that's exactly what I mean. As long as we achieve the goal, that's the key. That's the key. So forget the confusion with the criticism and the, all that. Just focus on the goal.
Focus on the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. You were talking about the different conflicts or challenges, how can team members leverage their different strengths, skills, and perspectives to achieve a common goal? You touch on that just now, but can you elaborate a little bit more? Maybe just
Sure,
one sentence.
sure. So the team is made up of a diverse group, right? You might, okay, I'm going to speak about my team at work. On my team, one of my team members, she's very good at Excel. So if I have to do something that has to do with formulas or the VLOOKUP and all those fanciness, I go to her, right? And she'll help me out of that little rut that I'm in so I can move forward, right? And when it comes to troubleshooting, they might come to me because that's my strength, right? And they'll move on with their whatever they're doing, right? When it comes on to certain leadership training that I have to do, I may maybe pick it back on one of my other employee because he does a lot of leadership training as well. So I might say, what do you think about this? And he'll give me his input. So we all have our different strengths that we bring to the team, right? And that is good because we need this diversity. Can you imagine? Because there's nobody that can do it all,
Exactly.
right? If you think somebody pretend as if they know it all, it's not true, right? So we pull strength from each other. You might be good at something, somebody is good at something else. So together we get it done. Instead, I'm there wasting time going on YouTube to learn Excel and learning how to do this and learn. Oh, the help is right there. It just takes like 2 minutes to get to our office and say, hey, I'm working on this and I need your help. You know, fast turnaround. I get the answer and I'm moving on.
Together,
So
each achieve more.
exactly. So diversity on a team, it's very good. It's very good.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So, what practical steps can we take to have a more valuable contribution to any team or partnership that we are in?
Just remember, it's not a competition. We're complementing each other to get this job done, right?
Mm.
It's not it's we all bring our contribution, and we're doing our job. That's our livelihood. So just take into consideration that if we don't do it very well, then it might impact even our job, right? So I just look at it that we complement each other, we support each other, and we're all in this together.
Mm.
And when you think about it, we spend most of our time at work, so might as well we get along.
That's so true. That
You
is so
spend more
true.
time at work than home.
I will spend a lot of time with the family. So the family need to be also in one partnership, just
Exactly.
like
So
the
that's our
team at
work
work,
family. Exactly. That's our work
Yes,
family. So
yes.
the
we
team at
treat
work,
them with
and the team at.
respect.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Amen. Dr. Loren, you have explored so many different areas, and I'm just sharing with everyone who is watching and those who will be seeing the replay. Dr. Loren Bartley is also an author. She is very good, as you see, she expound on leadership. She has a book will be coming out very soon on leadership. And you definitely need that for if you are part of an organization that need help with leadership, that's a go-to. And she will definitely assist you along with myself and Derek to help you with that aspect of leadership, whether in your workplace or in your small business or even in your home, that help you with the dynamics of leadership in your home.
And if you have the link for that book, if you could just drop it in the chat.
I don't yet because I'm still
Dr.
waiting on that
Loren.
copy. I'm still waiting on that
Oh,
copy.
okay,
But
okay. Okay,
yes,
okay, okay.
right.
All right.
Yeah.
As
It's
soon as
it's
you,
it's a slippery slope of managing people.
yeah, tell you.
The slippery slope
So
of managing people.
as soon as you get it, could you pass it on to us so
Sure, sure.
we can also highlight it.
Thank you
And
so much.
I've been personally in the sphere of Dr. Loren for many years, and her leadership skills, her leadership styles, it's very, very good, very inclusive. Many people that I have been around, they share how she served the underserved, people who are sometimes cast aside, discarded. She pulls them from that rubble and remind them that, listen, you have a purpose. You are a leader in your own right. So get up out of that dust and keep it moving.
Wonderful.
Right.
And I just also want to acknowledge those comments on the YouTube channel. We see your comments, just basically saying thanks. Very good leader, blessings everyone, etc., etc., and that they are listening. So thank you very much on the varied social media platform, YouTube and Facebook.
Facebook.
Right. Wonderful. So thank you very much, Queen Dr.
Thanks for
Loren.
having me. Thanks for
If you
having
could,
me.
if you could just give us your final comment.
All right. So, my final comment would be, well, ultimately, or in essence, collaboration inflow is about creating the condition where people can work together naturally, be themselves efficiently and purposefully. So the individuals who make up the team can become high performers. So that would be my closing statement. You know, people want to work naturally and efficiently. They don't want to be like bullied.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Queen Dr. Loren
It's my
Bartley.
pleasure. My
Great.
pleasure.
And
My pleasure.
Amos 3 and verse 3 lets us know, can two walk together except they agree? And that is true in the family, that is true at the job, that is true at church, that is true in the community, that is true anywhere you go.
Anywhere.
So,
So
Mhm. It
it
was
was
so funny.
it was great. It was great having you, Queen Dr. Loren. Really appreciate. I think we should have you very soon.
very soon, especially when the book is
When you
launched.
write, when
Yes,
you
yes.
so you can
I love
speak a
to.
little on your book
Yeah, I love
also,
to.
and so we can give it some promotions there.
And she'll be a part of our workshop once it is launched. But you definitely have to be in the group in order to ask questions. We
Oh,
will let you know more about that as it comes
definitely,
along.
definitely, definitely.
So our quote for this week, we always leave you with a quote as we wrap up. Flow in mindfulness and savor each moment. So, as a part of the team, as a part of leadership, as a part of management, as a part of the entire team, Let's flow with mindfulness and savor each moment so we can flow and we can get the job done. Once again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all who are on the meeting platform. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate all of you on the varied social media platforms and those who will be watching the replay. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day. And until next week, see you for another episode of Mindset Monday.
All right.
Right.
Thank you
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Sister Loren Rungan.
All right, anyway, wonderful. Take best care, everyone. You do have yourself a wonderful rest of the week. Remember, deep dive Tuesday and Thursday. And take care until next Monday.